Hey, I'm just checking. It's called testing.
Okay.
Can they? Oh, they can hear us.
Okay. Okay, hello, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us at the Olive Ridley project. This is our marine centre, rescue centre, and I'm Claire, I'm the vet. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of the centre and then we're going to start feeding the turtles. So Absar, who is our project leader from Pakistan, is currently my very handy cameraman. So he will be looking at your questions and asking me. So please feel free to ask any questions about the turtles and the centre, and I will do my best to answer. So come with me. So this is our centre. It's currently a very hot day in the Maldives. It's about 32 degrees, very sunny. And we have 6 patients currently. So this is our huge, large tank, which we currently have 2 turtles that are both diving. So meet Stelfox, who's the turtle in the far, and Susy, who's the nearest turtle. So both these turtles are adult female Olive Ridleys. They've both been with us now for a couple of weeks. Susy's been here the longest, since February. They've both sadly lost flippers to ghost nets. And they've both had to have surgery to remove one or more of their flippers. Okay. Okay. Just very excitingly, this is the first time that Stelfox, this turtle near us now, has actually been diving at the bottom of the pool, so it's quite a monumentous occasion for her.
Why is she named Stelfox?
Why is she named Stelfox? Martin Stelfox is the founder of this charity. He was here in the Maldives and he set up this project, and so he was actually here when Stelfox was found and rescued, so he named her after him, but for short she's called Stella because she is obviously a female Olive Ridley. So Susy coming up to say hi. Brilliant. Okay, we'll show you around the other tanks before we start feeding. So over here we have Beyonce, my personal favourite. She is a juvenile Olive Ridley. Sadly, she's lost her right flipper, which had to be amputated. She's doing really well and is diving as well. She dives most of the time for food, but she is beginning to sort of dive more frequently now, so that's really great, really good progress. And she was actually with us since the 8th of March, which was International Women's Day. So I had to give her a very strong feminine name, and Beyonce has definitely fitted her character very well. And you'll see her being fed in just a minute. Okay. Then over here we have Nema. Nema is a very large Olive Ridley, who sadly is still floating. She was found in December in Labiani Atoll by a marine biologist, and she was actually cared for in Nefari Juvenile, which is another rescue centre. She had to have the flipper amputated, and then she came here because we have slightly larger tanks, so that she could sort of rehabilitate and hopefully start to dive as well. Yeah. Okay. We'll come round here. Falling over. Okay. This is another juvenile Olive Ridley. This is Noor. She's our newest patient. So Noor is a juvenile. She came in on the 14th of April. She's very little, 38 centimetres, and weighs just 6.5 kilograms. Currently she's got a very badly affected left flipper. We're going to try and do surgery today actually to try and see if we can fix the flipper, or whether it will have to be amputated. So we're really hoping that we can salvage her flipper. But she's diving really well. But you can see they're quite hungry, they're beginning to circle for food. They know what time it is. Okay. Over here is Nadia. Nadia's a very feisty turtle. Look at her. She knows it's feeding time. So Nadia was actually found by our dive team, Coco Palm Dhuni Kolhu, Dive Ocean. They were out for a dive, and in between their dives they found this large floating net that she was entangled in. So she came directly here and had her flipper sadly amputated, but she's one of our longest patients so far. She's also got an injury on her neck, where the net was actually entangled around her neck too. So it's not just the flippers, it's also their heads that can get entangled too. And she's very hungry. Okay. Right. So you've now met all the turtles, so we'll start to feed them.
Just a quick thank you note to everyone that's sharing the video. Thanks a lot for your support. Thank you to everyone that's liking and loving the comments.
Okay, so we've got a selection of fish today. We had tuna this morning, and now we're on to jackfish, so trevally and some snapper. They can be quite fussy with their fish selection, so we try and change it up a little bit. So, let's start over here with Nema. There we go. So I'm using artery forceps because I don't want to get my fingers bitten off. It can be quite feisty when it comes to feeding time.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Katrina.
Okay. There we go. So you might be wondering how much food we choose to give them. We basically work out about 3% of their body weight daily, and we feed them twice a day. So 10:30 in the morning and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Obviously when they first come in, we try not to feed them too much because they haven't probably eaten for a long time, so we kind of wean them on into their feeding. And if they're definitely like, they've lost lots of weight, we try and kind of build them up again. As you can see, Nema's having no problem with eating, and definitely no problem with her weight either, so we're not going overboard with her today. Although she's a very, very keen eater. Okay. You gonna come over here? Say hi? There we go.
Well done.
She's brilliant. Right, who should we go to next? Should we go to Nadia? Okay, do Nadia. Any other questions? What up, Julie and Julian?
We had two guests here at the resort, Julian and Julie, that took a lot of interest in our work.
And they're currently in the air, 35,000 feet flying. So we've got to say hi. Hope you're having a safe trip.
They did have a few questions that they sent over to us. Question one is, does not having a flipper stop the turtles from nesting?
Ah, very good question. So my answer generally is, dogs and cats can do very well with 3 legs. And many people actually own 3-legged dogs and cats. And turtles can be very similar in that respect. They can swim very well with just 3. And they've actually been spotted nesting on beaches, especially the olive Ridleys, with just 3 flippers. So they can continue when they're being released to live a normal life.
Thank you, Claire. Deb had a comment here. She said, I didn't know turtles had sharp teeth.
They don't actually have teeth. They have a beak, and it's quite serrated, and they kind of macerate their food. As you can see, Nadia's doing very well. So they can break things down as strong as lobster shells and crab shells. So I wouldn't want my fingers to get bitten by it. But not teeth exactly.
And what else would an olive Ridley be eating in the open sea?
So these guys live in the deep sea, so they tend to be kind of foragers and will try and have a go at absolutely anything they can find. They have a go at squids, crabs, lobsters, shrimp, anything really. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
It's fine, thank you.
Okay, one more go. There we go. Lovely. Okay, should we go and see if Stelfox and Susy want some? Okay. These guys are going to be a bit more tricky to feed now they're diving. See if we can entice Susy to dive for us.
We have a question from Shirali McDonald. She says, hi Claire, how is Beyonce?
Hello to Australia. Beyonce is doing really well. She's actually just started to dive, not just with food. So I'm really hoping that in the next couple of weeks she'll be able to be released.
We have another question from Hassan Nafiu. He says, suppose we found a turtle which mistakenly ate a plastic bag. What can I do to help it?
Well, ideally, if you knew it happened, then we probably would love to see it, if you could get it. Plastic bags sometimes do just travel through the turtle. So they often do eat plastic, they get it confused with lots of other materials, and sometimes they can pass it. But actually, turtles have been seen in the sea with bags sort of almost coming out of them too. So sometimes it's a tricky one to say, like, would you intervene and try and pull it out? Or would you just try and maybe get it to somewhere like here? Luckily in the Maldives we are not the only rescue centre, there are 3 others. So if you're close by to any of them, you can always ask and see what's the best for that individual turtle.
Thank you, Claire. Marina has a question. She says, do you work with other marine centres?
Ah, exactly that. So there are 3 others. There are 2 marine savers, which are in 2 different atolls, our atoll and then down near Malé. And there's also a private, on a local island, Nefari Juvenile, which is an NGO run by a Maldivian company. And they also have a very successful rehabilitation centre. So the idea is that if we have any turtles that require surgery, they'll come here, and any turtles that have had surgery and are just in rehabilitation, we'll send to them.
Thank you. Pat has a question. Are all the turtles there going to be released back into the ocean?
Currently, the 5 of the 6 will hopefully be able to be released. Stelfox is the only one that we're actually trying to find alternative arrangements for. She's actually lost both flippers on her left side of her body, and we really think that that's not really ideal to be released back into the wild. So we're currently looking for an aquarium to have her, ideally in Europe or wherever would be willing to have a large tank for her so she could spend the rest of her days and be an ambassador for Ghost Gear.
Shirali had another follow-up question. She's happy with that news, and she says, how are those 2 in the same tank getting along? How would you say their progress has been the past few days?
Well, surprisingly, they're doing very well together. Turtles generally, olive ridleys especially, generally don't like sharing tanks, but they're both putting up with each other quite well. And when we can, we try and keep them separated. But as you can see, they're keeping their distance, and I think it's actually encouraging Stelfox to dive, watching Susy.
Excellent. Kiara has a question. She says, can I work over there as a volunteer?
Very good question. We've actually just started our volunteering programme. The first volunteer is coming out in June. So we're encouraging volunteers to stay between 2 and 4 weeks. And it's basically, you can have an interest in turtles or in scientific background, anything that really makes you want to come out here. We'd be very pleased to hear from you. And we're going to advertise that on our Facebook page this week.
Brilliant. Rushan had a question about which turtles are we feeding?
Which one's now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one that's just diving there is Susy. So she's showing off that even with just half a flipper, she's actually very capable of getting to the bottom and diving and retrieving food from the bottom. And Stelfox is just over there having a good look. We're not entirely sure.
Deb had a question, what country are you in? We're currently in the Maldives. This is where our rescue center is located. What resort is center based? Marina asked.
So this resort is the Coco Palm Dhuni Kolhu, and we are hoping to actually open another rescue centre within the same collection in Beyonce, hopefully in the next year or so.
Rushan has another question. Was Stelfox named after Martin Stelfox by any chance? Indeed.
Yes, and she's affectionately known as Stella. So we're going to encourage Beyonce here to dive.
I think you and Pat have something in common. You both love Beyonce the most.
She's the most
Thanks,
feisty.
Pat. What do you mean by feisty? Why is she feisty?
She's just got so much character. From day one, she wasn't shy at all. She was happy to show off. Have a look at this.
And do you reckon she can be released soon?
I hope so. If she continues to do as well as she is. We know that when they're ready to release, when they're happily foraging from the bottom, but also when they spend a lot of their time sleeping at the bottom of the pool.
That's a question Julian and Julie had. So when do we know exactly that they're able to be released?
So exactly that. When they're spending, like, showing the signs of normal behaviour, then we can then we can try and release them.
Kiara has another brilliant question. Are schools visiting the centre?
Yes, we are currently involved with an education programme with the local island Hitadu. So I'm doing a lecture series for the children, 14 and 18, and they're coming here ideally twice a week. We're 87 children signed up to this, so we're trying to get between 10 and 15 children at a time, basically to do what you're doing, which is to come around the centre during feeding time, ask as many questions as possible, get to meet the turtles, and so far it's been very successful. We've had over 30 children, I think, so far.
Excellent. Hassan had another question. Do you only have olive ridley turtles or other species as well?
Currently we do, just 6 olive ridleys, but we've already treated hawksbills as well. My favourite hawksbill that came in here, Ali Jaffo, she had a long line fishing hook through her neck, and we actually managed to take her to the local hospital at Edifishy to get an x-ray, and we then removed the hook and we released her after 2 weeks on antibiotics.
Thank you. Rushan had another question. I'm sure Martin is thrilled by that. Are you planning to take any interns? If so, what qualifications do they need and how long do you need them to stay?
Yeah, another great question. We are currently advertising for an intern. We would like them to be a Maldivian, a local person, because we would like to be able to sort of train them up in turtle husbandry and also veterinary skills as well. And so anyone that's interested, we're hoping to start as soon as possible. They get to live here on this lovely island and help me with the daily maintenance of the turtle and during surgeries and the rescues and releases. And ideally just 18 and over and really have an interest in marine life, want to help and work with these amazing creatures. So yeah, please send me your CV and why you want to come and work with us, and I'd be happy to have a look.
Shirali had another question. She's first of all saying thank you very much for going live. It's almost like she's here again. And how did the conference go in Vegas?
Oh, it was incredible. It was an amazing opportunity to meet lots of turtle equal enthusiasts. So it was the International Sea Turtle Symposium, and bizarrely it was held in Las Vegas, but it was a really incredible opportunity. I made lots of contacts with other sea turtle vets and other biologists. So we're hoping to go and visit some in America this year as well. It was a very alien concept from being here in the Maldives, though, I have to say.
Good.
Let's go up to Noor. I think Beyonce's had enough.
Julian and Julie had another question. They were wondering if we will put a film of Beyonce's release on Facebook.
Ah, definitely. Absolutely. 100%. I can't wait for it as well. Although I'm going to be pretty sad when she leaves, I'm not going to lie. Come say hi. There we go. Okay, we're going to encourage Noor to start diving as well. You going to come? Okay. That was cheating. You didn't even dive for that one.
How long can they usually dive for?
Turtles can hold their breath for up to 8 hours, but when they're feeding and swimming, it's for a lot less. And especially if they were stressed or being caught, their initial reaction would be to come up to breathe. That's why it's really important not to touch wild turtles when you're out swimming.
Outpack Pastaf asks how many turtles can stay in a rescue center like this one?
Currently we have space, we have 7 tanks, and ideally we wouldn't have to share tanks like we are now, so up to 8 with the large tank. So that's why it's really important that we're in collaboration with the other rescue centres so we can move the turtles around. But obviously in the future we'd like to expand this rescue centre and have another one of these 4 tanks because they're a brilliant size and depth for the turtles.
Tracy asks how many sea turtles do you take care of?
So far we have taken care of 16 sea turtles since we opened in February, so it's been quite busy so far.
Just a quick reminder, if everyone can, please confirm where you're watching from. That would be really helpful to us.
giving Nadia a little bit more.
Rushan's asking about conferences, if you're planning to go to the conference in Japan in 2018.
I would absolutely love to go back and meet everyone that I met in Las Vegas, so I would definitely like to be there, and hopefully by then I can give a presentation about what we've done so far with the rescue centre. So yeah.
Kiara's wondering if we tag any of the released turtles, or do we ID them?
Tagging would be the dream. Currently they're a little bit out of our price budget because they're about $1,500 per tag. So in the future, when we've got some more fundraising, that would be a brilliant way to follow their success and their rehabilitation. At the moment, we're currently using the photo ID method because every sea turtle is unique. Their scales on their face are like our thumbprints. So we ID them, and hopefully maybe one day if they're seen nesting on a beach, we could say that was one of ours. But yes, in the future, the tags would be the ideal.
Shirali's in Australia, but she wishes she was here. Outback Pascaf is watching from Hong Kong. Some great support here. Are olive ridleys more susceptible to ghost fishing gear than other species? Tom's asking.
Yeah, exactly. They are. And the reason behind that is that they're a pelagic species and they spend most of their time in the deep sea. So unlike the greens and the hawksbills that we have here in the Maldives, which spend quite a lot of time on their reef, the ghost nets are often in the deeper sea, and they'll come and have a look for potential food or even just a bath to warm up, and use these floating islands. So they're much more likely to be caught, which is why we see so many of them.
Katharina Southwell watching from Australian Seabird Rescue and Sea Turtle Hospital in Ballina, New South Wales, Australia.
Wow.
Keep up your great work. Thank you very much, Katharina. You too.
Hello.
All the best. Shannon Parker from Florida. Only a few Ridley's nest here, mostly greens and loggerhead. Some leatherback. I volunteer with the Sea Turtle Conservancy every summer.
Great work too. Thank you. Okay, got a tiny bit left to fish.
Karen from Essex in the UK, looking forward to visiting in July. Looking forward to having you here, Karen. Chad from Manchester, keep up the great work. Cheers, buddy. Thank you for your support. Tom Bird from Athuruga Area Atoll. Thank you, Tom. Pauline from France, love your work. Claire, big support.
Have a look, Beyonce's still going for it. She's relentless. We'll give her one more for her effort.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah,
Our friends from Munich, Germany.
Yeah,
They joined us in the...
turtles this morning on our snorkeling trip.
Rushan is asking, what are some of the drawbacks of being a turtle vet in such a remote place? He's watching from Singapore, by the way.
Well, apart from the climate is obviously incredible. Being able to get the drugs that I would like to treat the turtles with, getting some of the medication like the anaesthetic equipment, it's all kind of a bit of a slow process. Also, we set up this veterinary clinic here, and it's actually the first veterinary clinic in the Maldives. So it's sort of getting everything for the first time. A slow process, but it's definitely happening.
Hassan Nafi is watching from Dangeti, South Ariatol.
Hello.
Outpack Pascaf from... Oh wait, he says, by the way, how do you come up with their names?
Well, a good question. Beyonce is my only one that I've named personally. Generally, it's the people that find them. They kind of get, because they've successfully released them, saved them, they can then name their turtle. So they've all got their individual stories, and that's why Martin was so keen to have it named Stelfox.
Kiara's watching from Croatia. Thank you, Kiara. And she's asking, sadly she has a bad question, but it's a very good one. What do we do with the individuals that do not survive?
Good question. Sadly, well, luckily for us, we haven't had too many so far. The ones that don't survive, we bury, because they're quite a large animal. Ideally, that's what we're doing here at the moment, yeah. We just don't want them to kind of be like found floating in the sea. So we bury them here on the island. Yeah.
Rushan has a very good question. He's saying, considering that olive ridleys are more susceptible because they're pelagic, have you ever wondered why there hasn't been a leatherback yet, or is it a matter of time?
There actually has been a leatherback this season. All I know from it is that it was successfully released. So yes, they do. They can be entangled too. Yeah.
Jillian from Canada. Thank you, Jillian.
Hi, Jill.
Happy birthday, Jill.
Happy birthday, Jill.
Yes.
May the fourth be with you.
She's wondering, what are some of your dreams for the future of the center?
Oh, so many. I would like to have a horde of volunteers to come and join me and learn more about the turtles. I'm looking forward to have an intern. Obviously, I'd like the centre to grow and have more tanks. And I'm looking forward to there being another centre near Male. And
Excellent.
what more can I say? Self-cleaning tanks would be ideal.
Lisa from Hurawali. Hi, Lisa. Great work, ORP and Claire. Keep it up. How do you treat sea turtles with buoyancy syndrome? Good question.
That's a great question. As you can see, we currently have, two definitely buoyant ones. Basically, the answer is generally time and deep pools seem to be the best thing we can do for them. Susy and Stelfox are both examples of turtles that came in very buoyant, and they've with time gradually begun to learn to dive again. It's impossible to know really why. It was initially thought that it could be a pneumonia type problem, but it's also, I think, more to do with the stress when they're caught in the nets, that they use a sort of life jacket to sort of blow themselves up. So some of the turtles just need time to recuperate and kind of get over being caught in the net, and then they start to show their natural diving behaviours. And the deep tanks really encourage them to dive down.
Thank you. Namin sending support. Claire, what great work. We are watching from Moscow. How many colleagues are working in this center? Good luck in the project.
So at the moment it's just me, but we are working towards getting this a Maldivian intern, and then when the volunteers start coming out in June, there'll be more people present.
Thank you. Umair from Pakistan is asking, is there a turtle rescue center in Karachi?
Absa, you should know this question.
Unfortunately, there is not yet, and we're working towards training the local fisher folk and giving them enough knowledge and expertise so they can actually handle these animals much better than what's actually taking place right now. And we're hoping to get some sort of a rescue center, right? Yep. Nero from Mila Duba saying amazing work.
Show Noor for Nero. Hi Nina. Here she is, doing really well. I wanted her to show you diving earlier. Danilo, hello, how are you? Danilo is actually the founder, the rescuer of Nadia over here. And Danilo named Nadia after his girlfriend. So, here she is, being as feisty as ever.
He's asking, what about my turtle?
And that's Amma from England, hi. Hello. Right, so we've finished up now with the...
I wish I could work with these beautiful creatures. Jackie Lynn Porter.
Please come and visit us and volunteer. Right, feeding's all done, and now it's down to the less glamorous job of me tidying up and cleaning the tanks. So I think we're going to say goodbye now, because it's not quite so fun to watch me clearing up for the net. So thank you very much for tuning in, and obviously none of this can happen without guests and your donations, public donations. So please, if you feel that you've really learned a lot from this session and are full in love with the turtles like we obviously have, please do feel free to donate to our website, Olive Ridley Project. Follow us obviously as you are on Facebook, and our Instagram account is always being updated too. And we're always happy to help with any questions that you might have. So just send us a message. And thank you so much. We'll probably be doing this again soon.
Thank you all very much. Best wishes. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
You guys want to wave bye too? All right. Do more live stream. We certainly shall.
will.
Yep. Thank you. Bye bye.